Welcome to the Math Review. This lesson is on least common multiples, more popularly known as LCMs. And in this lesson, we're going to define LCM and we're going to review 4 examples. So before we can actually find the LCM, we have to know what exactly LCM is. Well, LCM is just the abbreviation for least common multiple. And what is the least common multiple? That's the smallest multiple shared by 2 or more numbers. And if you don't know what a multiple is, don't freak out. Down in the description, there's a link to a video that we have on multiples. So we got you covered. So back to LCM. So for example, let's say we have the numbers 2 and 5. I've set this area up so that we can clearly write the multiples for each of these values. So we'll put 2 here, and we'll put 5 here. And then what we'll do is we'll write all the multiples of 2. And the multiples of 2 are just the 2's times tables. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and it goes on and on and on. These 3 dots mean that we could keep going if we need to, but it's very rare that you'll have to pass 10 multiples for each of these numbers. Now let's go to the multiples of 5. And remember, the multiples are just the times tables of a number. And the multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and they go on and on and on. The question is, what multiples from 2, because remember, these are the multiples of 2, and multiples of 5, remember, these are the multiples of 5, which numbers do you see are in both rows? Well, I see the number 10 in both. I also see the number 20 in both. If I kept going, I'm sure I'd see more. But remember, the only one we really care about is the smallest one. So which of these is the smallest one, 10 or 20? Well, it's 10. Therefore, our LCM for 2 and 5 is 10. Here's our next example. We've got 9 and 12. So I'll write 9 here, and I'll write 12 here. And then I'll write my multiples for 9 in this row, and the multiples for 12 in this row. So the multiples of 9 are 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, and they go on and on and on. The multiples of 12 are 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, and those go on and on and on. So what numbers do you see are the same for both the multiples of 9 and the multiples of 12? Well, I see 2, I see 36, and I see 72. And again, if we kept going on with our multiples, we'd have more. There's an infinite number of common multiples, but we only care about the smallest one. And so, what's our smallest multiple? Well, it's 36. Therefore, our least common multiple, or LCM, for 9 and 12 is 36. So how do you do for those 2 examples on LCM? Easy? Hard? Let us know in the comments below. And if you feel really comfortable, you can pause this video and try the next 2 examples on your own. Then you can hit play on the video and see if your answers are right. I'll write them down right now. If you can get this one without any help, that's very impressive, because finding it for 2 numbers is hard enough. Finding it for 3 is a big challenge. So in this example, example 3, let's find the LCM for 8 and 13. I'll start by putting 8 here and 13 here. Then I'll write my multiples of 8 in this row and the multiples of 13 in this row. And the multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88, 96, and they go on and on and on. And for 13, our multiples are 13, 26, 39, 52, 65, 78, 91, 104, 117, and it goes on and on and on. Now here's the issue. Right now, I don't see any common multiples at all. So what do you think we should do? Let us know in the comments below. Well, whenever this happens, we should take our smaller multiple and keep going with the multiples. So we're going to take the multiples of 8, and let's move this up and keep going. We've got 104, 112, 120, 128, 136, 144, 152, 160, 168. That is a lot of math. But it turns out that with that extra row, we do have a common multiple, which is 104. And since it's the first one we saw, unless you want to keep going and going, which I don't think you want, that means our LCM for 8 and 13 is 104. And the last example, the most challenging example. What is the LCM of 10, 15, and 30? It's hard enough to find the LCM for 2 numbers, but with 3 numbers, that is a challenge. So let's set up our workspace. So I'll put 10 over here, 15 over here, and 30 over here. So the multiples of 10 are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and they go on and on and on. The multiples of 15 are 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, and those go on and on and on. And the multiples of 30 are 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, and those go on and on and on. So do we have any common multiples here? Well, I see 30, I also see 60, and I also see 90. But remember that we're looking for the LCM, and that's the least or lowest common multiple, which means we don't care about any of these. Therefore, our LCM for 10, 15, and 30 is 30. And in closing, let's reflect on everything we learned. What are multiples? Well, multiples are just the times tables of a number. If you're asking for the multiples of 2, you're asking for your 2 times tables. Or the multiples of 5, those are just your 5 times tables. And they can go on forever. That's what those 3 little dots at the end of our multiple rows represented. The fact that they go on forever. And ever, and ever, and ever. And what is the least common multiple? Well, that's just the smallest multiple shared by 2 or more numbers. Whew, that last problem sure was a doozy. I hope you did well. And if you did, what you should do is you should hit that like button. And don't forget to share this video anywhere you can, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more of our great math videos. Thanks for watching.